You can almost sense it. You can almost hear it in his voice, Martin. When the topic came up, it's like, oh, not this again.
I think he's right. Yeah, I think he's right. And I think there's this labelling, pigeonholing, Jim, that exists in football, and then it becomes sort of black and white. And it's and really, I feel as well, there's a characteristic in us as English people, okay, where we look at what people can't do and we don't look at what they can do. And I very much think it's one of these situations, because this man is a fantastic player. He's so creative. He's sitting on the bench.
But that's not true, Martin, because people focus on Trent Alexander. Everyone tells you what he can do. And that's not a fair observation, because everyone talks about a brilliant passer of the ball he is, how offensively great he is, and people are holding him to a standard of saying if you're an elite footballer and a composite part of your game is to defend, you have to be asked questions about your defensive capabilities, and that's what's happening.
I understand, and we're looking for balance, but
Yeah,
he's so creative. He's so creative that now maybe he gets forward. I mean, he goes forward probably more than any other fullback in the Premier League, and of course it's going to leave a hole behind him. And at times he doesn't get back quick enough, and that's just a balance he needs to find, and his manager needs to find it for him. But they want the attacking force that he is going forward, and they'll suffer that a little bit. Now, if he was in my team, I'm going to be covering for him. I'm going to make an exception for him because he's so gifted going forward. I'm not sure he gets that necessarily from his defence around him. As good as Van Dijk is and Konate is and Matip is, I don't think people are really filling in for him.
But by that argument, you're making allowances for him.
Yeah, but you have to, because he's so creative going forward. You know what you're getting from him. But it can work at the defensive side a little bit. Of course he can. But I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's as bad as everybody's.
He's not bad. But this is the biggest stage of them all.
Yes, but then as a player, as a manager, you need to work out what you need. So you want this creativity, or do you want an out-and-out defender?
In your mind, as a central defender, you're suggesting, saying, and I don't know the answer, so it's not a loaded question, that you're under the pump defensively, and some of that is as a result of Trent. You would say, well, I'm actually, in that moment, I'm fine with that, because offensively gives us more.
If he's bombing down the right-hand side, whipping in crosses as he does, then I've got to fill that gap. I've got to get across, and I've got to get across there a bit earlier, perhaps, than I ordinarily need to.
So I listened to most of the interview, and I thought he was right to be strident, but I don't think he gets singled out any more than any other player.
Oh, he does. He gets called out a lot.
Well, he gets called out for his defensive abilities, but at the same time, he gets praised enormously for his offensive play and his delivery of a ball.
But sometimes with him, the bad outweighs the good, Simon. Come on.
And every England player, to my mind, gets the same observation based upon what they produce.
Do they really?
Well, okay.
He's constantly called out for this.
It's a but, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what a fantastic pass. But now he's in up
I
against.
think it's unfair.
He wouldn't be in this England setup if Reece James was fit.
Well, you're probably right, because the manager hasn't gone that direction.
But he is in the England setup, and if called upon, will he do the right job? I would say yes, he will.
And is there a possibility that when it comes on top against the better sides, that defensively he will cause a problem for us?
Well, Willie Martin, you can answer that.
Not really. I mean, you've just got to be able to read the situation. And can he get forward? I think our fullbacks are allowed to get forward in this England shoot. I haven't seen Trippier do a great deal in the games that he's played in. He's been a little bit anonymous in the games. That's why
what about when the opponent comes at you?
Yeah.
Better opposition.
I wouldn't say it's his strength. Well, that's
great for a bloody defender.
What I prepare to do, though, and as Jurgen Klopp is, he looks at what he can do, what this young man can bring to his team, and that is something England could look at, Jim. We seem to, when it comes to really creative players, and we go into this tournament with Foden sitting on the bench, and we didn't really want to use him. Now, we've almost been sort of forced and thrown in. I think these creative players should be allowed to play a part in this competition for England. I do feel Alexander-Arnold is a special talent. If we're going to look at what he can't do, let's look at what he can do. And that is he's very effective when he's got the ball at his feet.